witness the big back attack of Sherwood High's Tyree Foreman, who rushed for over 1,500 yards and scored 26 touchdowns. Meanwhile, county rival Gaithersburg boasts of an offense by committee on their way to an impressive 11-1 season. It's inevitable that the Maryland Class 4A champion will come from Montgomery County, but the question remains, who wants it more, Sherwood or Gaithersburg? You'll get the answer when some of the finest high school athletes in the region go head-to-head, coming up next on HTS.
HTS presents high school football. Tonight, it's the battle for the 4A championship as the Gaithersburg Trojans take on the Warriors of Sherwood. It's a beautiful, cool evening, perfect for some high school football, as two teams from Montgomery County in the state of Maryland prepare to go head-to-head for the right to be called champion. Hello, everybody. I'm George Johnson. Tonight, you get a chance to see two teams coached by two guys with vast experience in the state of Maryland. In fact, developing legendary status here when it comes to high school coaching in Maryland. John Harville's been at Gaithersburg for 38 years. Bob Malloy, the head coach of Sherwood, prior to coming to the school 4 years ago, won 6 state titles with Springbrook. My broadcast partner tonight is Ed Massoud, and I guess that's a good place to start. Sherwood, a club that 4 years ago was kind of floundering in mediocrity. And then Bob Malloy came to this club, turned things around, and here they are 4 years later in the state championship game. And I guess a good example of a player maturing is their quarterback, Pat Salento.
And Pat Salento has grown with the development of this program. He is a senior quarterback, over 1,400 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, and I believe only 1 interception on the year. He is probably at his best, George, whenever the play is broken down and he has to ad-lib. When people think they have him, that's when he'll just jump up and bite you. He is a great talent. He's vastly underrated because he had to come out early in the ball games when they had their lead. Tyree Foreman, the junior fullback, is just an exceptional runner. He is over 2,700 yards rushing and 40 touchdowns, averaging 2 touchdowns per game. He's not only got quickness to the hole, but his speed outside is just going to kill you. He's also going to play defense.
Gaithersburg comes into this game, and when I think about the club, the word that comes to mind is adversity. They started out the season without their star quarterback from last year being able to play. They came into the playoffs without their star wide receiver being able to play. They've also lost guys on both the offense and defensive side, but yet they've still won ball games and find themselves here in the championship. And it's kind of ironic because the guy that they're going to look for to lead them in this game is a guy who missed the first 7 games with a broken collarbone, and that's the running back, Derek Lancaster.
Derek Lancaster, number 4. And Derek is just a tremendous asset. In his last 3 games, he's averaging over 5.5 yards a carry and over about 569 yards rushing. He's a threat not only as a runner, he's a super quick back, very, very similar to Tyree Foreman. He's got the good speed, but he also has got sweet hands, and he can bring it in. He's just a good asset. And Cornell Hawkins, what can we say? I don't know how many times you and I have done these games. We're looking at sophomore quarterbacks. Here's another one who stepped up early on in the year to replace Fontaine Green, who went out. Cornell is not a real great passer on the short ball, but he can get it done deep. He also can get it done on the run.
You know, you're not supposed to talk about sophomore quarterbacks coming in. Gaithersburg doesn't want to hear that because we've had 3 sophomores prior to this playing in this ball game, and each time they would come out losers.
Yeah, well, you know, who knows? As long as they play well, they're here. That's what counts. And talk about sophomores, Sherwood is a young team. And while they do have their star as Pat Salento, they are young. And they're going to probably be back here again next year.
Okay, well, we're coming back after this commercial break for the opening kickoff. It's Gaithersburg, Sherwood, the battle for the 4A championship here in the state of Maryland. Don't go anywhere. More right after this.
What's the call? Some of your best ideas happen up here with us.
The last thing this planet needs is another goofy gadget taking up valuable space. Yeah. Must be why Proform invented the Space Saver crosswalk. They don't call it Space Saver for nothing. Get it? Then get it.
Soon, you'll both be taking up less space. Space Saver by Proform.
Back here at Byrd Stadium, the campus of the University of Maryland, home of the Maryland Terrapins, but tonight it's home of the Maryland 4A Championship as the captains meeting at midfield in the toss of the coin. And Sherwood wins the toss. And there's Pat Salento, the quarterback, number 4 for Sherwood, one of the co-captains of this club, and will be key in this ball game for the Warriors. And Sherwood has elected to receive the kick. And that's kind of good news for this club, a club that scores on their first possession all year long, except against Gaithersburg.
That's right, and one of the things when we talked to Coach Malloy, he said he loves to get the ball in the first set of series. The amazing thing is that Gaithersburg chose to defend the goal at the south goal, and that is dead into the teeth of the wind. So Sherwood not only has the ball, they're going to be coming downwind.
How about your keys to victory, Ed?
Well, I think that we've got a very, very even matchup. In the rushing game, Sherwood and Gaithersburg just have powerful running backs. Passing edge goes to Pat Salento. The kicking edge I give to Gaithersburg with John Cups and Dave Garnett. And on defense, I give the edge to that strong Gaithersburg defensive line. Bottom line, the intangibles, that is what generally will set apart two established programs. And I think at the bottom we can flip a coin. Looks like Gaithersburg has a slight edge.
Sherwood will receive back deep, number 10, Javon O'Neal, a 12th grader who will play offense and defense. As you take a look at Bob Malloy, the head coach of Sherwood in his 4th season here. Damian Miggins also back deep for his club.
And Damian Miggins is the fastest player on the Sherwood team, possibly the fastest player on the field.
4 years here at Sherwood is head coach Bob Malloy. 18 years at Springbrook prior to coming here. And has six state titles to speak for.
And he's in his 9th championship game in the 21-year history of this event.
And big number 71.
Dave Garnett.
Do not adjust your screen. That's his real size. And he is a big one. 320 pounds, and boy, can he kick the football.
He uses a two-step approach. I think probably because if he has to go more than that, we're not sure where the ball's going to go, but he absolutely crushes that football. Normally, his kicks are into the end zone or through the end zone.
Well, he has the size and the makings of playing football well beyond high school.
And we'll see him in there at defensive tackle position later on in the game.
He's a 12th grader also. So Gaithersburg will kick the football off. They come in with a record of 11-1. They were the 4A West champions, the number 4 seed.
Right.
Sherwood comes in as the at-large club from the West. They also come in with a record of 11-1.
Right, and they both had in this final game coming in through the semifinals. Gaithersburg had a rather easy victory over Meade of Anne Arundel County with 41-0. And Sherwood had a rather easy victory over Patterson of Baltimore City, a 35-12 victory.
They're your deep receivers, Miggins and O'Neal. Miggins, number 70, just a junior, 11th grader coming in, and has already put together a fine career here at Sherwood. Nice crowd here at Berg Stadium. And of course, always the case when it comes to the state championship football game. Both teams representing Montgomery County as we still await the opening kickoff, and there seems to be some sort of problem. Bob Malloy is on the field at about the 46-yard line discussing something with the referees. I guess when you've been here time and time again, you want to make sure that the referees know what they're doing, because you know what you're doing.
They have a real good crew before kickoff, and while we're on the referees, Bill Boyle is going to be our referee. The umpire, Mike Bellis. The linesman is Bill Whitty, and Al Braley is the line judge. The back judge is Enzo Carpenti, and the clock operator with the official clock is Jim Slavey. These guys are from the Washington District Football Officials Association, which normally call the games for the Montgomery, Prince George's, Washington area. We've got a very, very outstanding and well-experienced crew here tonight. And it looks like Bill Boyle is coming over now to talk to Coach Harville.
John Harville, 38 years here at Gaithersburg High School, winning 76% of his games. His record is 265 and 82 coming in. And now both teams are going back to the sideline, I guess, momentarily.
I think they, after that long delay, George, what they've done is allowed them to go over and just get a couple minutes together, a re-huddle, so to speak, and then send them back out for the play.
So we're about ready to kick things off here at Berg Stadium. The Washington Post has ranked Sherwood coming in the number 6 team in the area. Gaithersburg is ranked number 4.
Yeah, these are two well-polished programs, tons of experience.
High booming kick, taken at the 16-yard line and brought up the middle by Manley. And that's Graham Manley, an 11th grader, 6'3", 222 pounds, and a solid one.
And Graham is normally tight end, and we'll see him at middle linebacker on defense on the inside.
Setting up the offense, you see Pat Salento, the quarterback, the senior. Tyree Foreman is the fullback. Ivan Maldonado is a good one. He's the other running back. Miggins, Norton, and Manley round out the receivers for Sherwood. Your offensive line, and Alexei Martineau is a good one from Russia and has adapted to the game well.
Only in his second year in the United States.
1st and 10. Ball at the 29-yard line. They give it to Foreman, and Foreman immediately makes things happen with a big gain.
About a 16-yard pickup. And this is something that I think we're going to see a lot of. Last time these two teams played, it was in a mud bowl. There was no traction at all for either team. Once Tyree Foreman turns the corner, he just puts the speed on. Gaithersburg line and linebackers with Bright, Wingo, Carter, Rajeski, Bogard, and Cups. And the deep secondary, Duffin, Emerson, Buttry, and Jenkins.
Fakes the inside handoff to Foreman. Maldonado with the carry, and immediately he's met by Billy Buttry, number 1.
And John Bright, number 66, who's back in after an injury in the Roosevelt game, and this is his first start. Here we have a replay. Again, Salento fakes to Foreman, gives to Maldonado, and you can see that Cups actually stood up that play so that it's number 65, Wingo, and Bright, and Buttry.
Jimmy Wingo, 340 pounds. You ask the coaching staff what they think about him, and one word comes out of their mouths: killer. Here's a screen pass to Foreman. Getting to the outside, picking up good yardage, close to another first down.
Looks like they spotted it about 2 yards short of the down marker. Again, a little flare pass, George. What they want to do is, again, when we spoke to Coach Malloy, his objective is to get the ball into Foreman's hands.
So to
we
make
have Salento back. He just turns, makes his quick toss to Foreman. Didn't get a very good block on the outside, but he still was able to turn it upfield and get a gain on the play. And I think we got about a 3rd and a long one.
Van Free came up to make the tackle. Just a 10th grader for Gaithersburg, playing the corner. 3rd down, let's say 2. In motion, Maldonado. And quickly up the middle is Salento, and Salento should have the 1st down. And they give it to him. So Salento carries the football. Won't do that too often.
He takes a snap, goes forward, slips a little bit, but has good enough push that he can move it upfield and get the 1st down behind the block of number 70, Ben Caffey.
So he gains the necessary yards for a 1st down. Salento, the highest rated passer in Montgomery County.
And as we said at the top, we have a penalty flag.
And it'll go against
Gaithersburg.
So this will move the ball deeper in Trojan territory. When you talk about Gaithersburg and you talk to their head coach, John Harville, and he'll tell you, defense is what wins games. And offense is just for the folks in the stands.
It sounds like George Allen and quite a few other successful coaches over the years.
That was a 5-yard penalty.
And that was an illegal participation penalty.
So it'll make it 1st and 5 now. Fakes the handoff inside, gives to Foreman, who breaks 1 tackle and has a lot of pay dirt. Good run inside the 20-yard line. Down close to the 21.
That's Rashad Jenkins on the stop, but just a good play by Foreman.
18-yard carry for Tyree Foreman.
Salento just comes back and hands it off. There's a missed tackle in the backfield. And the help didn't come until about 15 yards downfield when Rashad Jenkins came in on the play.
Foreman, for a fullback, very explosive, but will run outside the tackles as well as inside. Takes the handoff again, off tackle, and bounces down close to the 11-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 5.
And the key on this play, we have, of course, Sherwood running out of a wing T formation. You'll see a lot of motion coming across with the wing back. You also see guards and tackles pulling down the line to get some seal and some kickout blocks, which open up really nice holes. That's what they have to do against this large attack defense.
2nd down, Salento rolling out, looking for a receiver in the end zone. Touchdown!
Graham Manley
with the catch.
Exactly the same play that was drawn up against Seneca Valley in their semifinal victory last week. They not only got the touchdown on that, they made key plays when they were stuck in a hole early in the game. They came back to Manley, who always seems to be wide open. And he's a big target, George. He's going about 220, probably about 6'1", a junior.
And when you talk about the coaching staff, when you talk to the coaching staff about Manley, as the kick is up and it is good,
and it's
they get very excited when they start talking about Manley, a guy they think can play Division I football.
And I think that's true. The extra point was good by Brendan Malloy, who's the son of the head coach. And
you talk about sons. I mean, this is a family affair here at Sherwood.
Here it is. It was after a fake to Maldonado. Salento rolled to the right and threw down the middle. And as you can see, Manley is just wide open. There's broken coverage on that play.
And when I say family affair, Bob Malloy's son, part of this club, but his assistant coaches have some sons also playing here.
Don Rushing, we'll get into this a little later, but Don Rushing, Tom Kroll, and Bob Salento. There are 6 kids of 4 coaches playing in this game.
And one of them is here in Salento.
That was also a pretty nifty catch by Manley. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him and to the outside.
So Gaithersburg receiving the kick. And they'll bring it out. Outside the 20-yard line. Great little run. Still on his feet. Outside the 35-yard line. And a good return.
Van Free.
By number 24, Van Free. Another one of the many 10th graders on this club that is contributing early.
Daniels on the stop. First down. Gaithersburg on the
So Free brings it out to the 37-yard line.
Here we have the replay by Haney's kick is taken by Free just at the goal line. Comes up and just breaks tackles. Finally, he's taken down out of bounds by Jared Daniels.
37-yard return for Free. 1st and 10. Here's Lancaster taking the ball off tackle. And what a nice run past midfield and already in Sherwood territory. Down to the 45-yard line. 17-yard pickup for Lancaster.
George, our setup proved to be pretty good when we asked who we wanted to lead off with. Here we have Gaithersburg starters, backs, receivers, Hawkins, Lancaster, Mike Cowell, Ingram, Emerson, and Cups. And on the offensive line, they're huge. Wingo, Lowe, Scott Taylor at center, Carter and Fraley on the left side.
1st down. Here's Lancaster again, trying the other side, looking to get to the outside. Good speed. He gets inside the 40-yard line, down to the 37. A pickup of about 9.
You know, when I was doing a little background on the game, I said that it's going to be a close game. We thought here we have Lancaster again on the replay. Starts off to come up the middle, then breaks it to the outside. The only thing I'd like to see is he get that ball on the outside, get it away from the tacklers.
Lancaster missed the first 7 games with a broken collarbone. Boy, has he paid big dividends since coming back. Hawkins taking the snap, giving the Lancaster, and a nice play made this time by the linebacker, Manley.
You know, Graham Manley is just an outstanding student. He has played every down of every game for the last 23 ball games. The only time he's been out is when he's been injured. That's only been 4 times in 23 games.
Part of a solid defense as you see the front, and here's the defensive backs, O'Neal, Miggins, Norton. Solid secondary, and already calling a timeout is Gaithersburg. So with 7:35 left here in our first quarter, the Warriors of Sherwood lead 7-0.
Friday night, the Bullets and the Rockets on WBDC, Washington Sports Station. Jawan Howard, Rashid, yes indeed, Wallace. Look out, here come the world champs. Now, we get to find out how we measure up against the best of the best. Our house, our fans, your team. The Bullets, the Rockets, Friday night at 8:30 on WBDC, Washington Sports Station.
I'm a victim of child abuse. My life has been ruined because someone abused me very badly. Every day I fight to survive the flashbacks and nightmares. The effects are devastating, and for me, it's lasted my whole life. I suffer because I can't trust anyone. I want to fight back. I want people to know it's wrong to abuse children.
But most of this airline's fleet is modern enough to meet those quieter standards 5 years ahead.
Back here at Berg Stadium, 4A championship between Gaithersburg and Sherwood, and Gaithersburg's running back Derek Lancaster on a 3rd and 2 gets the 1st down. He carries the ball down to around the 32-yard line, a pickup of 5.
First down,
Here was a scoring drive with 6 plays, 71 yards, 247. Manley on an 11-yard touchdown pass from Salento to put Sherwood on top 7-0.
Gaithersburg ended the regular season at 9-1. Here's Lancaster trying to get to the outside. A good play this time by Javon O'Neal, who came up and stopped his initial move and then got some help after that.
And Javon has come up from the safety position. Here we have the replay. So far, it's been Lancaster right, Lancaster left. This time again, Lancaster to the left. Javon does his job. He comes up and stays home while the pursuit comes from inside out. And Damian Powell, another junior from Sherwood, in on the stop.
Cornell Hawkins, just a 10th grader, triggering the attack for Gaithersburg, who trails 7-0. 6.5 left here in our first quarter. Here's Hawkins giving to Lancaster, receiving, blocking up front, and running into a host of Sherwood players. Matt Norton was there on the tackle, as was Damian Powell, number 88, and number 63, Brian Harrington.
And Graham Manley, always around the ball. Derek Lancaster, here we have with the season 101 rushes and 569 yards, 5.6 yard average. Again, we have to say that only goes into the last 3 games. That's all he played.
3rd down and 6. Ball is at the 28-yard line. Clock continues to roll. Hawkins looking for the fade pattern. Emerson, who lays out to make the catch. Fine catch right there by Kelly Emerson.
Kelly Emerson has been doing it all year long for John Harville. He's a senior wide receiver. You know he's got good hands, George. He also holds all the point after attempts, field goal attempts. He's in on kick returns, punt returns, and wide receiver spot. He just lays out and brings it in. What a great catch.
17-yard reception for Kelly Emerson. The hardest worker on this team, they say. Inside handoff on a 1st and 10 going to Lancaster. And it looks like he may have lost a yard.
And Martinov is in on the play.
2nd down and 11. Ball at the 12-yard line as Lancaster leaves the ball game. There's Emerson.
12 catches, 93 yards, a 7.5 yard average during the season.
2 receivers split wide to the right. Hawkins fumbles the football. And it looks like he may have gotten back on top of it.
Still blue ball.
But he's going to lose yet another yard, and it's going to make it 3rd down and 13.
He pulls out. He's looking for where he wants to go before he gets the handle. Turf looks a little slick down there. A little footing problem we've seen in certain parts of the field. Unfortunately, they recovered their own ball. 3rd and 12, George.
Clock continues to roll. 4:20 left here in the first quarter. Gaithersburg trailing by 7. On a 3rd down and 13, Lancaster tries to turn inside, and there's that slippery turf we talked about, Ed.
Yeah, Phil Lazo, our man down on the field, told us about that it's good between the hash marks, but as you start down the slope on the crown where the field drains, it's been a little bit soft, and we've seen some of it chew up early. And I think we're going to have Dave Garnett come in and attempt a field goal. Looks like it's going to be at about the 19.
Making it
It'll be 29-yard attempt.
Last week, Garnett hit a 34-yard field goal in the victory over Meade to get here to the finals. The kick is up, and it's going to be wide to the right.
Wide right.
So Sherwood will take over 1st and 10 after the missed field goal by Garnett.
I think there were a couple keys on that drive. And one, of course, was the fumble where they lost a yard, and the good tightening up of the defense. Gaithersburg had been getting some pretty decent yardage around the right side. Then they ran a couple plays right in a row back to the left side. No gain, slip, fumble ball. And Sherwood now has their chance at the 20.
Pat Salento, the 1st and 10 on the 20. Immediately going to the outside, and the pass was intended for Damian Miggins.
And I think
incomplete.
Yeah, but you know the way they're setting that pass up, it's almost a lateral, George, and they're going to have to be very careful. Looks as though that back is a little bit behind the quarterback when the quarterback's making the throw.
Salento threw for 1,259 yards during the regular season. Top-rated passer in Montgomery County. And to date, he's completed 66% of his passes. He's got 2 receivers split to the left. Manley takes a step back, goes in motion, and they give it inside to the fullback. and Foreman gains little to no yards, making it 3rd down and long. Tackle made by Mike Carter.
We have Manley comes in motion, sets a block on the inside. It's almost like a false trap. They're cheating with it. Foreman up the middle, but Wingo and Carter just stuff it up.
What a big defensive line John Harville has. I mean, they are huge. Talking across the front, 340, 284, and 290. 3rd down, Salento looking over the middle and a nice pass to his tight end. And boy, Salento has a gun as he completes one to Manley.
He has just great ball handling skills, and as I said on the tip-off, I think he's probably the most underrated quarterback that we've had in our county for a long time, maybe even the Washington metropolitan area. He has it all. He's a Division I level player. 2 fakes, he catches the read. It's a perfect lead right into the numbers of the tight end. Big gain, 1st down. We're at the 32-yard line.
Graham Manley with 23 receptions on the season for 383 yards, averaging 16 yards a catch. That time he got 12. 1st and 10 play. They go outside, complete the pass to Miggins. And Miggins scoots for a couple.
And closing in on that defense was Harold Duffin, a sophomore who was only moved up for the playoffs.
2nd down and 7. There's a good look at Damian Miggins. Had 31 receptions on the season, good for 400 yards. That's good for 12 yards per catch.
And when you have the speed he has, it's not hard to get 12 yards.
They give the handoff to Maldonado, who changes directions, gets a 1st down, still on his feet, outside the 45-yard line and close to midfield.
He turned a 2-yard loss by shedding the tackle of Carter into a super pickup, having Bograd, the right corner, save this touchdown. There, Carter had him. He bounces to the outside. Duffin comes up, gets a stiff arm. Bograd follows him down and ends up bringing him down, but not until he gets the yardage for a 1st down at the 47.
12-yard carry for Maldonado. Lone setback was Foreman. They go to Miggins, and a good job of making the catch and keeping his balance.
And a nice spin move to cut the 1 tackle and advance the ball down the field. Looked at first as though he almost had his knee down, and of course in the high school, that's where the play would have ended. Here Salento just throws a square out, just a quick flare out. Great balance by Miggins, not only on keeping possession, spinning out, and advancing down for a pickup of about 7 or 8.
Approaching the 1-minute mark here in our 1st quarter. Sherwood on top 7-0 and in control. Maldonado up the middle and good for a 1st down.
George, this looks like the old typical wars that we used to have with Springbrook and Gaithersburg over the years. The systems are the same, only the players are different.
And Maldonado gets the 1st down on the carry. Ivan Maldonado, 5'11", 190-pound senior.
And a reverse pivot and a nice fake to Foreman, a good trap block up the center. Maldonado ahead, and Buttry and Bograd on the stop.
Maldonado gets a 1st down with the 7-yard carry. Here's Foreman, and Foreman takes it up the middle before being brought down by John Cups. Cups has been a solid performer all year long for Gaithersburg.
Not only at defensive end. Here we have just a nice block. Foreman gets a little slight angle and takes it, brushes to the outside. And we have a 2nd down and about 2.
8-yard carry for Tyree Foreman. You see the clock winding down here in our 1st quarter. Will they get the play off before it ends? Yes. Salento sees an opening, stops, great play, finds Miggins. Miggins at the 5, touchdown Sherwood. What a good play by Salento.
And we have penalty flags on the field, George. We may have had the quarterback over the line of scrimmage, and if so, this touchdown is coming back. No time left in the quarter, but we're going to sort this out with Bill Boyle and the referee's crew. I believe we may have had an illegal forward pass.
Boy, Salento stepped up in the pocket. so nicely. Had an opening there, and you're absolutely right. Stepping over the line will move the football back, but what a great
Watching
play.
it. He does come up, looks like he wants to run. He pulls up just short of the yard stripe. And of course, the 1 yard where he pulled up was where the line of scrimmage was.
So the 31-yard catch and run for a touchdown by Miggins is nullified because of a penalty, moving the football 5 yards back to the 36-yard line, and they'll make it 3rd down and long. And I'm wondering, are they going to end the quarter, or can they not end it with a penalty?
Yeah, they can end a change a quarter. They cannot end a half.
Well, I see no time on the clock right now. It's not running. Sherwood getting another chance on 3rd down and 7. Foreman busts through tackles, but then all of a sudden here comes big David Garnett, and he was going nowhere, number 71.
Foreman on the carry.
So we've come to the end of the first quarter. 7-0, Sherwood in the lead.
The last thing this planet needs is another goofy gadget taking up valuable space. Yeah. Must be why Proform invented the Space Saver crosswalk. They don't call it Space Saver for nothing. Get it? Then get it.
Soon, you'll both be taking up less space. Space Saver by Proform.
I love her.
I love you.
Obsession for Men, Calvin Klein.
Tonight, it's two legendary coaches going head-to-head, but it's not the first time that they've met in a championship game. Back in 1986, Springbrook High, coached then by Bob Malloy, was going for their 5th state championship. But when Gaithersburg recovered this fumble and scored, head coach John Harville captured his first state title for the Trojans.
Two old friends who have seen each other many, many times. And you talk to Coach Malloy, he says, you know, we have a bet for dinner.
That's right.
As to who wins. And he said,
The
you know,
winner
Coach
buys.
Harville still owes me 2 dinners.
Yeah, well, John will pay up. I'm sure John would like to have that number go to 3.
Make no mistake about that. We're here in the second quarter. George Johnson along with Ed Massoud and Phil Lazo as you take a look at the first quarter stats.
We have first downs. Sherwood with 6 and Gaithersburg with 3. The rushing yards twice as much with Sherwood 78-34. Passing yards again twice as much for Sherwood. The total yards, time of possessions only 2 minutes and 10 seconds difference. Gaithersburg had all the running plays, weren't able to come up with any kind of a score, missing the field goal wide to the right. And Bob Malloy here getting the troops ready for the start of the second quarter with a 7-0 lead.
And his club driving too right now. They've started at their 20-yard line. They're currently on their 9th play of this drive.
Having had a touchdown called back because of an illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage.
Maldonado goes in motion on a 4th down and 2. Salento over the middle. The pass was high. It was intended for Miggins, looking for a flag, but he won't get it.
And Harold Duffin, a sophomore, covering on the play. And earlier in the preparation, George, we were talking about the field goal kickers for Sherwood. Coach Malloy indicated they've not had an opportunity to use it normally because they're scoring touchdowns with Foreman as the running back.
Let's go on down to our sideline reporter, Phil Lazo. Phil?
Thanks, guys. Huge play there by the Gaithersburg defense to come up with a stop on 4th down. Let's see if Gaithersburg can get something going on offense, punching in the end zone. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Phil. And Hawkins immediately going to work up top. Pass was intended over the middle for Manley, or excuse me, Emerson, that is. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Again, George, this is one of the things where Cornell Hawkins, being a 10th grader, has a little bit of trouble with the setup on the short throws. And that time he had what I call little happy feet, and the ball was thrown a little bit down and behind the intended receiver.
Hawkins has completed 47% of his passes in the playoffs. As this time they try the teeth of that Sherwood defense with Lancaster and nothing doing.
And again, Martinov is in on the stop along with Manley.
And Mike Gelati.
Mike Gelati.
Number 28, the linebacker, who is extremely fierce inside.
It looks like a hole, but it's just sealed up very quickly by number 55 for the Warriors.
Jimmy Dingle.
Jimmy Dingle goes both ways.
Interesting story on Jimmy. Tell you about that in a second. 3rd down and 10. Ball still at the 31-yard line. As they give it to Lancaster and nothing doing, the defense converges. That's Alexei Martinov who's in on the tackle. As Lancaster will lose a couple of yards, creating a 4th down and 12 situation.
George, I'll tell you, Gaithersburg's going to have to get a little more creative and stop handing the ball to Lancaster every play. The holes are there initially, but they're closing down. Sherwood's putting in a pinch defense. They having a tough time stunning, but they're able to pinch and seal the gaps. John Cups is back in punt formation for the Trojans.
4th down and 12.
Oh, he hit a beauty.
O'Neal back. Miggins will take it at his 21-yard line. Eludes one tackler. Trying to get to the outside. Stays on his feet down the sideline, and a good job by Miggins.
That's a super return.
49-yard punt. Wow.
John Cups is probably the best all-round player on that Trojan team. Both offense, defense, punting. He has it all. But Miggins just had a really super run.
And that run was good for 18 yards. As you look at Damian Miggins.
Here he's back, takes that 49-yard punt on the 20. Coming right at you in the living room, folks. Right on the sideline.
He's on my couch right now. 10:25 left here in our first half. Salento back to pass over the middle, and yes, again finding his tight end, Graham Manley.
This is a play where Manley from that tight end spot just goes down. Nice fake by Salento. Bootlegs out to the right. Nice roll. Manley across the middle for the completion. Pickup of 9.
2nd down and 1. And they say the problem with Manley is he wrestles, so he doesn't gain any weight, Ed.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Coming from a wrestling man.
Listen, between these two teams that are on the field tonight, I could field the county championship wrestling team.
You could start with a couple of guys there for the heavyweights on that Gaithersburg defensive line as Foreman carried it on 2nd down and 1 and gained no yards, creating a 3rd and 1.
And here we have Coach Harville. 2 state championships, 1 finalist in his 4th championship appearance. 76% win record.
Salento rolling, finds Foreman. And he makes the 1st down catch down to the 45-yard line of Gaithersburg.
And he's taken out of bounds on the stop by Billy Buttry and Derek Lancaster.
So Foreman's reception.
We have the rollout and the throw, and again, Tyree Foreman, get it to him on the outside.
For Foreman, an 11-yard reception. 1st and 10. Clock stops at 9:10 left here in the first half. Side handoff. the fake. Salento holds on to the football and gets down close to another first down before being knocked out of bounds by Emerson. Great deception there by the senior quarterback, Pat Salento.
George, at the top, I told you this guy has just super skills. He's the son of the head junior varsity coach. He will come out, give his fake handoff. He rides Foreman all the way into the line. Everybody in the ballpark thought that Foreman had the ball, and Salento just steps around the right side.
2nd down and 1. Salento gives it to Maldonado. Flag thrown as Maldonado is hit at the line of scrimmage by Trevor Wilson. Works his way downfield for another couple of yards, but we've got to wait and see what this flag is about. And it'll go against Sherwood. Holding against the offensive line, so that'll nullify the first down and move them back 5 yards.
Move it back from the spot. Here we have a fake on the counter up the middle. Maldonado gets the ball, goes around the right side. Good block by Manley, but there was a hold earlier in the play. Interior lineman coming down the line. Of course, in high school, we're nice. We don't give the names of the players like they do on television with the pros.
College doesn't either.
And it's still a learning experience for all these guys on the field.
Ball's taken back to the 46-yard line, so that, in theory, is a loss of about 9 yards, making it 2nd down now in 10. Salento with 3 receivers split to the left, going over the middle, and his receiver slips. Pass was intended for Matt Norton, who has recently become a big part of the passing game for this club.
Yeah, he normally sets up at the wingback spot in the wing T, and normally have been used for blocking and wingback reverses and counter plays. They started opening up about 2 games from the end of the regular season and through the playoffs, and Norton has been just a very, very efficient receiver.
Talk about a slippery field. The last time these guys played in the regular season, I mean, it was slippery, all right. I mean, it was a downpour.
It was like quicksand.
The final was Gaithersburg winning by the score of 9-6, but Bob Malloy said he left with this empty feeling. He didn't feel as if both teams could use the strengths that they had because of the downpour. Here's Salento on 3rd and long. Over the middle, flag is thrown. It'll probably be pass interference. And I can say the name, can't I? That's probably going to be charged to Emerson.
Yeah. He had good tight coverage, but as the receiver went up for the ball, they did have contact, and that's a good call by the official. Of course, one of the theories when you coach defense is if the guy has you beat, you get him. Here's Salento's back. He has pretty good protection. Throws the ball. It's a nice throw. A little high.
On the 30-yard line.
And Emerson does make contact.
Close call. But the ball is brought down just outside the 30-yard line. So they picked up 16 yards on that penalty. 1st and 10. Sherwood leading by the score of 7-0 with 8.5 minutes left here in our first half. Here's Foreman to the outside. And he's finally bumped out of bounds. Looked like Harold Duffin on the play.
And coming up to assist is Derek Lancaster. It's amazing that both of these backs running all over the place and knocking each other out of bounds. Again, Salento just is on a sprint handoff. Foreman takes a turn as he comes up the field. Duffin gets a piece of him right here, number 29. Forces him out of bounds, and Buttry in to finish off the play.
2nd down and 3. Ball at the 23. Inside handoff goes to Foreman. Big Jimmy Wingo in on the tackle, number 65.
You know, it seems as though the blocking scheme that Sherwood has put in is really handling the size and the fear that Bob Malloy had about the defensive line of Gaithersburg. He told us that there were some things he wanted to do, but he didn't want to give anything away. I think what he's done is he stepped up the quickness on his line, going with shorter counts, going with post and gate drives, so that they're actually hitting a double team on the point of attack on every play, getting the holes in there, really forcing Gaithersburg to fill. Here we have a timeout on the field.
Yeah, with a timeout. 7:57 left here in our first half. We'll take a break. We'll have more from Burge Stadium right after this.
Johnny-O, delivering your Capitals holiday gifts this December, HTS. 3 great games, the Islanders, the Rangers, Montreal. What more? Okay. Capitals face-off. You get the stats, the lights, the features. Talk about holiday hockey excitement. It's the happiest holidays for everyone. It's the Capitals in December on HTS.
HTS. This is ACC country. Football power. Tops and hoops. Masters of sports. HTS is the ACC. No one's got more ACC sports. No one delivers more ACC championships than HTS. No one. Period. This is ACC country. This is HTS.
Because your business can send you practically anywhere at a moment's notice. We offer nearly 5,000 flights a day.
Back here at Berg. 3rd down and short for Sherwood. The fake handoff inside, and the pitch goes to Norton, and Norton couldn't get to the outside. Defensively waiting for him was Ben Bograd.
Another wrestler, by the way.
How many times am I going to hear that tonight?
Oh, every time you see a good tackle.
Norton tried to get to the outside on the option and slipped on the turf, and it is becoming a problem for some of the runners out there.
Especially, George, as Phil told us earlier, when you're outside the hash marks near the down marker, where the big numbers are painted on the field, it's slick.
So 4th down and a long 3. Salento rolling, passing, good catch by Manley. All hands.
Unbelievable. That throw totally off balance, but right on the target.
And how about Manley? With great technique to go up and make that catch with the hands.
And soft hands for a 220-pounder. Here we have Salento again. It's a nice fake as he rolls out. He has to go up. It's almost a jump pass for him, but just an outstretched, great catch by Manley.
Manley with a 15-yard reception there, sets up the 1st and goal. Maldonado trying to get to the outside. Good containment. John Cups did a good job of turning Maldonado to the inside and allowing the rest of the defense to catch up to him.
Again, he did his job on that end spot. He forced it in and allowed the flow of linebackers coming from the inside out to make that play with the pursuit.
Let's go on back down to the field and Phil Laszlo.
George Jeanette, a lot of frustrated guys here on the Gaithersburg sideline. They really look confused. They're not sure how Sherwood is dominating them the way they are. Trying to make a stand now inside the 10-yard line. Back to you guys.
And they're not used to watching the club work on their defensive line like they're doing so as they try the inside handoff to Norton, and a good play inside by Big Jimmy Wingo.
And that's the wing back reverse play. Just a little counter. It comes on the inside. There's a fake up the middle. The wing runs around. Salento hands him the ball inside the left tackle, and Wingo is there to make the stop.
Looking at this defensive front of Jim Bright, and David Wingo, and Mike Carter, and Joe Rajewski. And boy, you've got a good set of guys that don't need anyone to blitz. Coach Harbaugh says, I don't need anyone to blitz. I've got a great defensive front. They're going to have to come up with a good play here. Pass over the middle to Norton. And he makes the catch down at the 1-yard line. Good coverage by Duffin, the 10th grader, but it was just there. Good pass.
A perfect pass. You got to throw that ball. When you throw it on the inside, you have to throw it low, keeping it in front of the receiver. Here we have just good blocking by that Sherwood line, and Salento fires that ball right into Norton.
And the football never crossed the plane, though his feet did. Was not a touchdown. And we've got a timeout now with 5:14 left here in our first half. And we've got a 4th and goal situation. And you know Gaithersburg's going to pile the beef up in front, but Sherwood got a situation where they've got to think about it. They haven't kicked a field goal all year long.
They're not going to kick a field goal. When you couldn't have a runner like Foreman, Maldonado, Norton coming back on the inside from the wing spot, the deceptive ball handling of Pat Salento, the ability to roll out, the ability to make option-type plays, pop one to Manley, the tight end over the middle. Hey, they're going to go for 6. There's no question about it.
And the question is, did he cross the goal there?
No. When his foot was down, he didn't have possession. And it's a good play by Duffinoni to try to steal the ball, but it also keeps him inbounds in the field without going over the goal line.
Good play by the 10th grader.
Remember the Mel Gray phantom pass with the Cardinals and the Redskins, and nobody saw him catch it, but they gave 6. We don't do that in high school. You got to put the ball in the end zone.
So there's your distance from ball to goal line. 4th and goal situation for Sherwood. And Gaithersburg really needs to come up with a defensive stance, trailing 7-0 already.
I think we're going to see the 5 stack now instead of the 4-3.
Foreman is just set back with Maldonado. Salento goes up the middle. Still waiting for an official call. Touchdown, Sherwood. And Pat Salento holds on to the football and gives his club the 13-0 lead.
And that's a good call by Bob Malloy. And Salento steers him down the field. He's provided leadership for that team all year. They've got pretty good blockers up on that line with Caffey at the center spot, and Dingle and Jackson and Martinov and Harrington, and the experience of Salento. And here Brendan Malloy's on for the point after. It's a high snap. The kick is up.
And it's blocked
and
by
it's
Mike
no
Carter.
Good.
Big number 72, Mike Carter, got in there and got a paw on that one, which will keep the score at 13-0.
And I think that play is going to be, it's going to loom large as we go down into the 4th quarter. I knew coming in here, George, we weren't going to see a 9-6 ball game. There's just no way that was going to happen. These two teams can put up the points from anywhere, even though the defense of Gaithersburg is not playing up to its tout. But here we have the play. It's a good line surge, and look at that white shirt move the blue shirts back. Salento then stepped in to the right side of Caffey, behind his block and behind the block of Jimmy Dingle, and gets it in for the touchdown.
Interesting, going back deep to receive the kick now, a couple of 10th graders. Greg Davis being one of them.
Van Free. And you watch the speed. They are fast.
And there's Greg Davis, the 10th grader, number 27, Free.
And Tom Haney set to kick off.
And it looks as if he's going to squib kick it the way it was set up on the tee, and it gets away from one Gaithersburg player and picked up by Mike Kao, the fullback, and this will be good for a -4 return. So they wanted to keep it away from the two youngsters back deep. As you said, a lot of speed.
A lot of speed back there. Evidently, I know Sherwood was at the Meade game. And the last part of that game, when a lot of the players got in, we saw their speed. Here's one that trying to field the ball, they need to fall on the ball. Just fundamentals. Fall on the ball, protect it. It's a free ball.
1st and 10 for Gaithersburg, and you hope that the sophomore won't get impatient, work his team downfield. Gives it to Lancaster, flag down on the play, who cuts inside the tackle and is met by a host of Sherwood players. Miggins in on the tackle.
Javon O'Neal, Damian Powell.
And the hits just keep on coming. But as we said, a flag on the play, and it'll be holding against Gaithersburg.
Holding Gaithersburg.
So that'll take the football back. Gaithersburg, who won the state title in '86 and in '92, they were runners-up in 1989. To get into this championship game in the playoffs, they defeated a good Eleanor Roosevelt team in the first round, 22-7, and then beat Meade last week, 41-0. And there's the scoring drive for Sherwood. 1st and 20. Ball's at the 17-yard line. Emerson in motion. Hawkins back to pass. Looking deep for his receiver, Ingram. Ingram in and out of his hands.
Should have caught that ball. Remember at the top I said he's not real efficient on his short passes, but the long passes he can get them there. That ball was right in Ingram's hands. There may have been a little deflection, a hand wave somewhere in between the flight of the ball coming down by Miggins, who had good coverage. But Hawkins is back. It's a sprint out type pass. He sets up and just rips it.
And it is a beautifully thrown ball too. Had gotten behind Miggins.
He beat both Miggins and Norton.
He makes that catch and he's gone. 83 yards, but as it stands now, he misses it, so it's now 2nd down and 20. I formation. Hawkins on the keeper. Got a good block. Gets outside the 25-yard line, close to the 29. And a nice block to free him for about 5 or 6 more yards.
Yeah, the primary thing that set that up, though, was his initial reverse pivot, which took the flow of the linebackers over to the right side, took them away from the hole, enabled the backside blocker to come down, trap, and kick out. Then Hawkins tucks it and turns upfield and gets a nice run before he's brought down by Norton and Miggins, the 2 safeties.
3rd down and 8. You see the clock still rolling here. Action in the first half. Hawkins looking for Lancaster, who avoids 1 tackle, avoids a 2nd tackle, still on his feet, and close to a 1st down. A fine effort by Derek Lancaster on the screen pass.
And a good tackle, open field by George Marshall coming up from his corner spot. And we have an official timeout because Gaithersburg has a 1st down.
Well, he had to make the tackle because 2 guys had already missed it before that.
Again, it's a little bit of a roll to the left, flip to Lancaster, spins out on 1 tackle, the 2nd tackle, the 3rd, the 4th, and then Marshall finally making the hit, getting help with Miggins to bring him down.
I formation on the 1st down and 10. Ball's at the 38-yard line. Under 3 minutes left here in the first half. Gaithersburg's losing 13-0. They swing a pass to the outside, and it is complete.
Joe Rajeski.
And Rajeski makes the catch, the tight end. And Rajeski's sort of a unsung hero on this club. Quietly gets the job done.
Both ways, offense and defense. There's official timeout to bring the chains in. They're going to measure this one. Good. Nice catch by Rajeski. He had to turn around and go up for it with soft hands. And a good tackle again by Marshall.
And that may have been the first time I've seen a receiver be able to keep his feet on this turf after the catch. The measurement, and you can see how short they are for a 1st down, so that'll make it 2nd down and short.
I think one of the things that Coach Harville and Gaithersburg they've opened it up. They've gone away from Lancaster primarily from running. Now they're going to passing and spreading around a little bit, being a little more successful. If you're only going to give the 1 guy all night, the whole defense is just going to key on you. This will now open things up, and we may be able to see Lancaster come back with some successful runs.
2:44 left here in the first half. The clock has stopped as the Trojans approach the line of scrimmage.
Look at this, I formation.
And they'll start the clock now. Hawkins holds on to the football and easily gets the 1st down. And had he looked to the right, he might have been able to break it off for a couple more yards.
I think he was just anxious to get the 1st down. And again, if you're going to run that quarterback keeper on a 5-2, the place to go is the quick step to the right. Here we have Hawkins under center. It's a nice block by Scott Taylor. Hawkins steps to the right, squirts down underneath those big linemen, gets the 1st down at midfield.
Ball just shy of midfield. 1st and 10. Again, the I formation. Hawkins over the middle. Nice pass to Cups. Cups makes the move. Runs over another player inside the 25 or 30-yard line, that is.
George, that's my favorite play all time. Any level football.
You must have been a tight end.
Just a quick slant. It's tough to stop.
And good for 23 yards is John Cups on the reception.
Here we have Hawkins. He'll take 3 steps back and pop it right into Cups, who breaks 1 tackle, then is hit by Norton and Jervon O'Neal.
And that's what you want from your tight end. Just go straight ahead, no matter who's in your way. I formation, trying to get it to the outside. And actually, they went to Harold Duffin, the 10th grader, who all year long was playing JV football, wasn't brought up until the playoffs, and really has made a big impact with this club.
He was a definite impact player. Here he gets it. It looks like it's an option pass. And as he goes to fake, he fakes maybe some people, but not Tyree Foreman, who's up on the play, closes and takes him back for a big loss.
Yes, indeed. A loss, 8 yards. So that makes it 2nd down and 18. Putting themselves in a hole. Hawkins drops the football.
That may be white ball.
And it looks like underneath, Kevin Jackson may have fallen on the football, but a flag did come fly in. And there's big Kevin Jackson, an 11th grader, 5'10", 240 pounds.
We have an official timeout. With 1:15 remaining. Again, it looks like there's a little difficulty on the exchange. The snaps seem to get up okay. Hawkins lost the handle. Jackson does pull that ball in, but we had a flag down on the play.
And that drive was going along pretty good for Gaithersburg. They were on their 9th play after starting on their 27-yard line. Yes, their 27-yard line. They were pushed back to their 17 after a penalty.
Jackson was given the fumble recovery. Salento's up on their center.
That wing T formation that Bob Malloy likes so well. The inside handoff to Foreman on a 1st and 10 at the 38.
Tyree Foreman on the carry.
And good stop by Billy Buttry and John Cups on the left defensive side. Not until after he picks up almost 6 yards. 2nd and 5.
30 seconds remain in the half.
Here again, Salento rides him right into the line. Foreman gets the last 3 yards all by himself.
Another timeout with 23 seconds left here in our first half. The Warriors of Sherwood leading by the score of 13-0 over Gaithersburg. This is the battle for the 4A championship as the clock continues to roll. 15 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter. Lone setback is Foreman. And they're going to pass the football. Intercepted! And they may not have wanted to pass there. And run out of bounds with no time left. And Duffin makes the great play.
Again. Of course, that really made up for that 10-yard loss on the halfback option that we saw him try a little earlier.
Well, there's no time left on the clock.
And that's the end of the half.
But Duffin, credit him with making a fine play to thwart the efforts of Sherwood. And you're wondering why they're throwing with time running out in the 13-point lead.
He tried his quick look in, coming from a split end. Duffin saw it. It was almost telegraphed. Stepped up and made the interception. Tried to pick up the blockers, and Foreman goes from offense to defense, runs him out of bounds as we end the first half with a score Sherwood 13 and Gaithersburg 0. Again, the ball was not thrown that badly. Duffin just stepped in front of the intended receiver, Miggins.
Let's go down to the field where Phil Lazo is standing by with head coach Bob Malloy.
Here with Sherwood coach Bob Malloy. Bob, big first half for your guys. You caught him off guard. You basically dominated the line of scrimmage today.
Well, I don't know about that. You know, we've scored twice, and I hope that missed extra point doesn't come back to hurt us. But you know, they're a great team, and it's going to be a hard, long 24 minutes. I can tell you that right now.
Has anything surprised you so far here in the first half?
No, it's going kind of like the way I thought. I mean, you know, we're having trouble stopping their offense, and we're moving the ball a little bit. I think our quarterback's really playing some great football. So, you know, we got 24 minutes from where we want to be, and it's just, you know, we just got to get organized and gathered and just keep playing.
Thanks, Coach.
Sherwood head coach Bob Malloy heading into halftime. Sherwood 13, Gaithersburg nothing.
All right, thank you, Phil. So he's giving all the credit to Pat Salento for his team having that 13-point lead. As we go to a commercial break, we're going to come back with more action from Byrd Stadium, the battle for the 4A championship in the state of Maryland.
Wednesday night, the Bullets go against the Hawks on HTS. Chris Webber, Jawan Howard, Rashid, yes indeed, Wallace. Atlanta, good solid club with guys who know how to win. We shoot down the hall. We know we're on our way up. This is our house, our fans, your team. The Bullets, the Hawks, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS. Ready to play.
Up here, there are no ground rules. So go ahead. Think. Build. Create. Do something amazing. You're going places. And that's why we're here.
Back at Byrd Stadium, as we are just moments away from the start of the second half, as Gaithersburg trails Sherwood by the score of 13-0 in the battle for the 4A championship in the state of Maryland. George Johnson along with Ed Massoud, Phil Lazo. And I got to tell you, Gaithersburg, there's the head coach, John Harville. He must have had some choice words for his defense.
I think so. They've come in here on the backs of the defense through their 11-game win and one loss through this season, and the defense really has not lived up to its reputation in that first half.
Let's take a look at a couple of highlights from the first half.
This is Pat Salento on the first touchdown to tight end Graham Manley, 11 yards on the reception.
That capped the 6-play drive.
And here again is a pass from Salento to Norton with a good tackle by Duffin to save the touchdown, only to have him come up, I believe, here on the next play behind the blocking of Caffey, and Salento takes it in over the right side for a touchdown. And then this is probably going to be a little critical because Brendan Malloy, who has made 31 of 35 coming into tonight, 32 of 36, has the ball blocked. That's going to be a touchback, George. In high school, when the ball crosses the plane, it's an automatic touchback.
So Gaithersburg will start things off here in the second half. 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line, trailing 13-0.
And I think they're probably surprised by the way in which Sherwood offensive line has handled their defense. They've done such a good job, Sherwood, that the Gaithersburg tackles are being made by the backs in the secondary.
Let's go back down to the field and Phil Lazo. Phil?
Just talked to Gaithersburg coach John Harville. 4 words: we can't stop him. George, Ed?
Okay. Well, here's Lancaster hoping that the Sherwood defense can't stop him as he takes the first down pitch and goes about 5 yards on the carry.
And again, on that tackle, Manley, Foreman, Norton, and Gigliotti.
First half stats, and look at the rushing yards for Sherwood.
And again, it's just dominance by Sherwood on the offensive line, allowing all that rushing yardage, over 71 yards more than Gaithersburg. Passing yardage has been critical as well, and total yards over 100 yards, but the time of possession is again almost even. Gaithersburg's going up and down the field, but they can't get the ball in the end zone. Fumbles, penalties, field goal wide to the right. They've been stopped on all of their attempts.
They've punted, fumbled the football twice. And that young man right there is having a good football game in Grand Manley.
A lot of people would take tonight's game with his game and call it a season. Here we have Hawkins, Lancaster, Cowell, Ingram, Emerson, and Cups. Wingo, Lowe, Taylor, Carter, and Fraley on the offensive line.
And this time they go with the inside handoff.
Greg Davis, I believe, number 27.
And actually, that was Mike Ko.
Oh, check that, sorry.
12th grader.
That's why you're doing play-by-play.
And Ko, as you take a look at the Sherwood defensive starters, and Damian Powell in last week's game to get him to the championship had 2 critical fumble recoveries for this club.
And one was on a hit by George Marshall that enabled Powell to recover that ball.
1st and 10 after the first down run by Ko for 4 yards. They give it to Lancaster. Lancaster trying to get to the outside. Stopped by Mike Gelati, number 28, and Manley.
And that was pretty good blocking behind the left side of the Trojan offensive line. And good tackle again by Manley and Gigliotti.
2nd down and 6. Ball is out at the 34-yard line. Just underway here in our second half. Lancaster following his blockers well on that one. And gets out past the 40-yard line. Good for another first down for Gaithersburg.
And in the first half, they weren't real successful running to their left. Looks like Fraley and Carter have picked it up a little bit.
And it looks as if we may have a player shaken up down on the field.
And again, that's Derek Lancaster. Here's a counter tray play. One step to the right, brings it back to the left side off tackle. Good blocking up on the line. And it looks like his hand.
In the first half, Lancaster rushed for 28 yards on 10 carries, and they really went to him a whole lot earlier in the first half and then kind of got away from him later on.
Yeah, they had to. He was carrying the ball every play. And helping there, the longtime paramedic with Gaithersburg, Nelson Irie. He's been with them for about 10 years.
1st and 10, Gaithersburg on their own 42-yard line. Hawkins goes back to pass, decides to hold on to the football. Makes a move to get to the outside, breaks one tackle. Going down the sideline to the 40. Finally knocked out of bounds at around the 37-yard line. A fine run by the sophomore quarterback.
He almost turned that pass play into an option play.
And for a sophomore, boy, he is really quick on his feet. And decision-making is not too bad either.
Not much fake on that. He intended it as a sprint-out pass. Then he pulled the ball down, stepped up to his inside, then broke it back to the outside. And a huge pickup on that play.
21 yards. 1st and 10 for Gaithersburg. In Sherwood territory, trailing by 13. Hawkins again trying to hold on to it. And this time, nothing doing.
Gigliotti again.
And Gelati comes up to make the tackle. He's the leading tackler on this football team.
He's a hitter. No question, he is a hitter.
And Hawkins actually will lose a couple of yards on that one. 2nd down and 12. As the ball is marked back at the 39-yard line. Split backfield. Wojcicki's in the backfield now for the Warriors. Comes out, makes the catch. Gets down close to the 35-yard line.
That's number 7. It's Scott Lestrange.
Let's go back down to the field and Phil Lazo.
Thanks, guys. Just over on the sideline with Derek Lancaster, right above his left elbow. He's hurt. The back of his arm, tricep area. He seems to be in a lot of pain. They've got ice on it now. We'll see what they can do with it. Back up to you, George Ed.
He took a shot with a helmet. I believe it was O'Neal on that tackle.
And you don't want to lose your star back, but when you take in consideration the club played 7 games without him during the regular season, they can adapt. Pass over the middle is complete. And Emerson makes the catch close to the first down marker.
Yeah, they've got it spotted almost right on the line. We'll probably have official timeout for a measurement. Good hands by Emerson. We saw him on that layout stretch catch in the first half.
Kelly Emerson in the playoffs with 3 receptions, good for 31 yards coming in. Made a fine catch earlier in the ballgame for 16 yards.
And Hawkins put that ball right on the money.
So while they measure, we take a timeout. We'll be back with more from Bird Stadium right after this.
Some of your best ideas happen up here with us.
Howard Grossman does one thing better than anyone else. He plays the game of blackjack and wins big time. But to casino owners, he's not only good, he's dangerous. In fact, he needs a disguise to play blackjack at virtually every major casino. All because he figured out how to beat the odds. People have gladly spent hundreds of dollars just to learn Howard Grossman's secrets. And now you can learn from the master himself in his tell-all video, The Secrets of Blackjack, which can now be yours for just $19.95, but only through this exclusive TV offer.
You have 12. The dealer's up card is 2. What do? You hit once, and I'll show you why.
You'll learn everything you need to know to win. Call now and we'll include the handy reminder card absolutely free. Our guarantee, if you don't at least double your money, we'll gladly refund your purchase.
Soft 18. Most people would stand. Those people are wrong, and I'll show you why.
Call now to order and see how easy it is to win.
Welcome back. The battle for the 4A championship here in the state of Maryland. Gaithersburg with the football trails Sherwood by the score of 13-0. First and 10. Hawkins looking for Rajewski, and this one was overthrown. And actually, check that. Pass was intended for Scott Lestrange, number 7. And you can see Derek Lancaster on the sideline.
And they've got him iced on that left upper arm, tricep area, as Phil indicated. You don't like to see that at any level, but when you got your leading ball carrier for your last 5 games, including your 2 playoff games, to get here out of the game, you just hate to see it.
So Hawkins now, 2nd and 10. Gonna run the option. Hold on to the football, try to cut inside. And Graham Manley is there to make the tackle.
And also Jimmy Dingle helping to force that play.
And Hawkins picks up maybe a yard. We'll make it 3rd down and 9.
Here we have, this is just a design option all the way, and as he goes to turn the ball upfield, loses his footing.
3rd and 9. As you take a look at the sophomore, Cornell Hawkins, who's completed 6 of 9 of his passes. He's going to throw again, and look at the defensive play as they force the fumble. And boy, what a job Jimmy Dingle and the crew did on that one.
And Tyree Foreman as well.
Boy, they just closed that pocket up, and he didn't have time to find his receiver.
He had protection for a very, very short period, if he was enough for a short pop over the middle. But as he straightened up to go to a secondary receiver, you can see Foreman forced it from the backside. And I can't get the other number, Damian Powell. Damian Powell, 2 weeks in a row, coming up with a key fumble recovery.
So yet another turnover for Gaithersburg. They were driving, and their efforts are thwarted by the Sherwood defense. And here comes their offense. And Tyree Foreman takes the handoff and gains maybe a yard, if that.
And he's stopped in there by Jimmy Wingo, number 65. And also Trevor Wilson.
Foreman carried the ball 9 times in the first half for 76 yards.
Well, you know, we've had Bob Malloy's coached a lot of great backs, including Leonard Green, who's a starting tailback at Southern Cal, and Sean Springs, who was a running back at Springbrook, now defensive standout at Ohio State. and he puts Tyree Foreman at the same level as that caliber of player. Here we see him again.
And that's a
on
good
flare
reason
out
why.
pass.
Yes, indeed.
Put that ball in his hands every chance you get.
And credit Salento with avoiding the rush right there, finding an alley in which to find Foreman. There's the fake in the alley right there.
Norton. And just a good little pop on the flare. Leading the block up front was 72. Kevin Jackson, another big man.
Takes the ball out to the 48-yard line. And boy, Gaithersburg's defense really has to stiff it.
John Cupps did on top with Jimmy Wingo down underneath.
Maldonado with the carry, and that's the kind of defense that they're going to have to play if they want to keep Sherwood out of the end zone.
It's going to be very, very key that they stop Sherwood on this series. Here Maldonado gets the ball, and I'm not sure that he really wanted it. Cupps really put a hit on him. Wingo underneath.
He gained a yard, but boy, that was a tough yard right there.
Could be one of the toughest yards he's ever had in his life.
We've played half of our third quarter here at Berg Stadium. Sherwood with their first possession of the second half. And a flag on the play, and it'll be delay of game.
Dead ball, delay of game, signified by Bill Boyle, the referee. That'll back him up 5 yards.
Making it second down and 14.
And about the 44 of the Warriors. There's Bob Malloy and the coaching staff. Tom Crowell in the headset, who's got his son out on the field. These guys have been together for 15 years. Don Rushing's been with him for 25 years. Very solid coaching staff.
Second down, 14. Salento. Play action, and Wingo with the sack. Big Jimmy Wingo.
This is the kind of defensive pressure that Gaithersburg was looking for earlier in the game. Right now, this is the best drive Gaithersburg has put together. Their defense moving the Sherwood offense back down the field.
And Salento, with that sack, loses 8 yards.
He goes to ride to fake to Foreman as he turns back to set up the throw. Wingo is there. He's Division I level player.
Third down and 22 now. Good defensive stance, as you said, Ed, by Gaithersburg, but they've got to come with the stop here. Salento looking out in the flat for Foreman, who makes the catch, has real estate, and is tripped up just as he crosses midfield. A good defensive play out there by the cornerback. And it looked like it may have been Duffin again who came up and made the tackle.
Again, it's Duffin.
And the 10th grader has just done a great job on the defensive end.
And a flag down on the play.
And it's up there by the ball. You wonder, actually might be an area where they made the block.
May have had an illegal block. Let's wait and see what the signal is. Remember, now we'll come back from the spot of the foul. And it's going to be a big one.
And there's Tyree Foreman, who scored 142 points during the regular season, which was the 4th most in the state of Maryland.
Right. And I'll tell you, George, Tyree is a gentleman. Here we have the little swing pass from Salento to Foreman. Takes it upfield. There is a clip right about at that point. And Foreman continues to advance into Gaithersburg territory, but it comes back from the spot of the foul and looks like we're going to set up at about the 27-yard line.
And it looked, there's Duffin with the tackle right there, but it looked as if Maldonado may have gotten behind the player when it came to blocking.
Yeah, you get anxious to block when you're out in the open field, and sometimes you forget that once the ball carrier's gone by, don't block. There we have head coach Malloy and assistant coach Tom Kroll. They've been together a long time. On the Gaithersburg side, talk about a long time. Fred Joyce has been the assistant coach in charge of defense with John Harville for 30 years. Fran Perry has been there for quite a while at Gaithersburg as well. And these two staffs just are solid, solid coaching staffs.
Bob Malloy with his crew, having won 6 titles when he was at Springbrook. He's been here at Sherwood 4 years. And let's go back down to the field and Phil Azzo. Phil?
On the Trojan sideline, they're taping up Derek Lancaster. Looks like he wants to go back in the game. Look out. Back up to you guys.
Okay, Phil. And maybe he needs a blocker or two down there.
I think so. But there's no doubt Lancaster wants to get back in the ball game. And they rode him in here on the last 5 games of the year, including 2 playoffs. And when you're hurt, nicked a little bit, you don't want to sit there, especially when your team's losing and they're counting on you. No, Derek wants to get back in.
So the ball now is marked at the 27-yard line, making it 4th and 32. And they're going to get the ball.
Great play by Cups, forcing it up the middle. Wingo and Carter, and Cups coming from the backside. Just put Maldonado on the ground, and this, I believe, will be maybe the first time tonight that Sherwood's had to punt it away.
Tom Haney will be back to punt.
Here we have the handoff to Maldonado. Good pressure. Cups just makes a super play. In my opinion, George, he's another Division I player.
Haney averaging 44 yards a punt.
Almost blocked.
High booming kick, takes a Sherwood bounce, and will roll down to the 35-yard line of Gaithersburg, where they'll take over 1st and 10, trailing 13-0. 4:15 left here in our 3rd quarter.
I know we have over 16 minutes left in the game, but Gaithersburg has got to assert themselves. They've got to get on that scoreboard. Otherwise, this one's going to be pretty much out of control.
Haney, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, especially if they're going to be happy to just run the ball, the clock will move extremely fast. They're going to have to put it up, take a few chances. They need some protection in there for Hawkins, too.
After a 31-yard punt by Haney, here comes Gaithersburg. Hawkins going to put the ball up in the air and finds Emerson at about the 39-yard line, which will be good for 4 yards.
Well, I tell you, we have seen some outstanding catches today, both sides. Emerson, Norton, Manley, Cups, John Harville. Again, it's Hawkins rolling to the left. And it's a nice pass, tough to intercept. Good coverage by Javon O'Neal. Just a great catch by Emerson.
2nd down and 7. Lone setback. Lestrange. Hawkins rolls. Almost intercepted. And that's George Marshall, number 22, out there on the coverage.
And George has played really well all year. Made some key tackles. And I know he's probably looking forward to next week. Almost intercepts that ball just off his fingertips. George also is a member of the Sherwood basketball team, as is Tyree Foreman. And I know that those coaches just can't wait to get those kids back out on the court.
But like it even more if they come home with a trophy, though, huh?
Sure.
3rd down and 7.
Nice draw play
up the middle. And a good tackle made by Manley.
And I know his coach is waiting for him to get back, too. He also, Graham Manley, for a guy his size, playing like he plays, George, he's also number 3 player on the tennis team. So he's football in the fall, wrestling in the winter, tennis in the spring. There's Scott Lestrange, his numbers on the season, 71 rushes, 351 yards. And Cups in punt formation.
And O'Neal is back deep to receive the punt, along with Miggins.
Another super kick by Cups.
Miggins takes it at the 17-yard line, breaks 2 tackles, finally knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So Sherwood, with possession of the football again, 3 downs and out.
Yep.
For Gaithersburg.
And that was very close to having a little flag thrown there. Almost had a no legal block, but fortunately, it didn't happen.
40-yard punt for John Cups. That's 7-yard return.
2 punts, 44 and 49 yards tonight. It's not bad.
1st and 10 for Sherwood. Salento brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. He's done a good job all night long running this offense. Gives the ball to Maldonado, who looked like he almost lost it. And eventually is dragged down by a few Gaithersburg players led by Bill Buttry.
And Rashad Jenkins, Ben Bograd. George, going back in the history of a lot of these games.
Injury timeout.
Another injured player, too, down at the 22-yard line.
Official timeout. That's a Gaithersburg player down.
And that looks like John Bright. And John Bright came into this ball game with a nagging knee injury.
And he suffered a loss on about the third or fourth play against Eleanor Roosevelt.
There's Maldonado. As you saw, he did lose possession of the football momentarily, and that slowed down his progress.
Right. And it's a good gain tackle, but he picked up some decent yardage on the play.
Yes, he did. 6 yards on the carry for Maldonado, as you see Bright. And Bright really, as you just mentioned, got hurt against Roosevelt, and just to have him out on the field after the kind of injury that he suffered was
it's amazing that he's here. The other thing is he did not play at all in the Meade game. And in that game as well, they lost Kenny Simonson, who is just an outstanding linebacker. They also had in that game serious injury to the throwing hand thumb on Cornell Hawkins.
And they thought it was fractured at the time.
That's correct.
But this club all year long, as we talked about at the top of the show, talking about Gaithersburg, has had adversity. They're losing players in different situations. A lot of them got hurt. They're starting running back Derek Lancaster couldn't start the season. In the first scrimmage, he broke his collarbone. And yet they're still here. There's a testament to the coaching and the ability of these young men to suck it up and have a good season in Gaithersburg.
That's right.
Second down and 4. Foreman to the outside, cuts inside, has a nothing but green pastures as he breaks off a big run inside Gaithersburg territory.
And a great tackle by Billy Buttry. Looks like we have a little cramp. I think Tyree got stretched out. Here again, it's just a quick toss to the left. Foreman, notice he runs under control once he gets his shoulders squared upfield, and then he just turns the burners on, and Buttry comes up and just makes a nice tackle.
26-yard gain for Tyree Foreman on this play. Good blocking out front, too.
And again, that's Maldonado, who not only carries the ball, but blocks, as did Damien.
Miggins also with a good block. Finally dragged down by Buttry, as you said, but not until he had run for 26 yards.
Right. I think we have team physician for Sherwood, been with them for a number of years, Dr. Sheldon Mandel.
Let's go back to Phil Lazo.
Thanks, guys. Down here on the Trojan sideline, not good news. Derek Lancaster, the arm not too much of a problem, but he's suffering from some dizzy spells as a result of the hit. Does not look like he's going to come around fast enough to get back in the game. And John Bright has re-injured that knee that he had the ACL problem with. Back to you, Ed and George.
George, as I was mentioning earlier, that traditionally the history of the 4A championship, at least over the 10 years where Montgomery County teams have played each other in this final contest, only twice has the team that won in the regular season won again in the state championship. And it looks as though that unfortunate tradition is holding true, because Sherwood, having lost a regular season game and now back here in this game up 13-0 with 1:44 remaining in the third quarter. History's a tough thing to defeat. And we talked about that both with Coach Malloy and Coach Harville. And you know, their main concern, they both want to win. They want their kids to play just a sound game. There's Coach Harville and Pat Calvin, assistant coach, who had played at Gaithersburg. I just hope that it's a strain or a cramp or spasm with Tyree, and not hamstring or some kind of serious injury.
Tyree Foreman, also a tremendous student.
3.25, Minds in Motion with the State Athletic Association. If you have a 3.25 in your season, you qualify as a Mind in Motion Scholar Athlete. One of the things that we've been very instrumental in supporting for the State Athletic Association, along with sportsmanship. And you talk with this young man, he's just as polite and as kind and as humble as you could be. I think that's what makes him so great and why I admire him so much.
There's the coaching staff of Sherwood as
Don Rushing walking in toward us, 25 years with Bob Malloy, Tom Crowell with the headset, 15 years. Billy Goodman, who came over this year, who had been the assistant coach at Seneca Valley. And let's see if we can pick up what possibly the injury was. Looks like on the right knee, he just may have just buckled under him as Buttry had his weight come down on that leg.
Foreman with 105 yards.
There's a definite lateral pass, and that ball's recovered. That was a backward pass recovered by Gaithersburg.
John Cups came up and made the play.
That could be the turning point in this game for the Trojans.
Still plenty of time left as Gaithersburg gets yet another opportunity.
You know, and I did tell you earlier in the game, I was concerned a lot of the balls that Salento was throwing appeared to be laterals, and that is that they're backwards. The back was actually behind the line, extended from the quarterback, and if that ball is not fielded, that is just like a fumble. It's a free ball. And Cups was in on it along with Richard Pelez, another wrestler, by the way.
Clock still rolling, though, here in the third quarter. Minute 5 left. Oh, that time, Cups had a golden opportunity to pick up some yardage and couldn't hold on to the football.
I think that was one of those things, George, where we've seen so many times. Everybody's making the great catches tonight. And here Hawkins rolls out to the left. He has good protection. He throws. Ball's perfectly thrown right in the hands. Nobody near him. They're always the ones that guys seem to drop. Of course, I think he might have been looking to run before he caught the ball.
2nd and 10. I formation. Lestrange to deep back. KO the up back. They give it to Lestrange, and he breaks a couple of tackles. Gets in Sherwood territory after a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
And Gaithersburg seems to be content to go behind the left side of their offensive line behind Hank Fraley, number 53, and Mike Carter, and center Scott Taylor.
So now 3rd down and long. And Gaithersburg, of course, trying to do this without their star running back, Derek Lancaster, who Phil said is on the sideline suffering from dizzying spells. Hawkins on 3rd down rolls out, finds his receiver, and a great defensive play made for Sherwood. Coming up to make the stop is George Marshall on the reception.
Rashad Jenkins.
Jenkins made the catch, and Marshall just came up and made a sure tackle to create a 4th down and long situation.
Yeah, and they did give him the soft underneath. Good catch, good tackle by George Marshall, holding the Trojans to 4th down.
So we've played 3 quarters, and Sherwood still holding on to a 13-0 lead. We'll wrap things up at Bird Stadium with our 4th quarter action right after this.
Friday night, the Bullets and the Rockets on WBDC, Washington Sports Station. Jawan Howard, Rashid, yes indeed, Wallace. Look out, here come the world champs. Now, we get to find out how we measure up against the best of the best. Our house, our fans, your team. The Bullets, the Rockets, Friday night at 8:30 on WBDC, Washington Sports Station.
Ho, ho, ho. Johnny-O, delivering your Capitals holiday gifts this December in HTS. 3 great games. The Islanders, the Rangers, Montreal. Want more? Okay. Capitals face-off. You get the stats, the lights, the features. Talk about holiday hockey excitement. It's the happiest holidays for everyone. It's the Capitals in December on HTS.
But most of this airline's fleet is modern enough to meet those quieter standards 5 years ahead.
fake.
It's the fake. Wingo on the 4th down, and he completes the pass to Cups. And Cups gets close to a 40-yard line. How about that on a 4th down and 7? Gaithersburg runs the fake, gets it to the big guy, and he throws a completed pass.
That's a 328-pound pass play. That goes complete to John Cups, who dropped the other one. Actually, it was just that's an unbelievable call on the part of John Harville.
Look at the form on the pass, too.
That ball looks so tiny in his hands, it looked like a pea.
But it got him a 1st down.
I think that one caught Sherwood totally off guard. Don't be surprised with a misdirection counterplay right now.
1st and 10.
Try to keep him off balance.
Ball at the 40-yard line. Here's Lestrange trying to get to the outside. Finds some daylight. Gets the 1st down. And finally dragged down by Norton, but not before he gains close to 14.
I want to tell you, he got tremendous blocking from Hank Fraley and Carter on that side. They're found something over there that they're able to do to turn in that Sherwood defensive right side. There's Carter, there's Fraley. Oh, and a good seal block by number 23 from the Trojans, Mike Kao.
And backs like Lestrange and Kao were doing it all year long for this club when Lancaster was down, and Strange rushed for over 300 yards during the regular season. Here's Hawkins on a 1st and 10, dumping it. And a fine effort by Majewski, but he couldn't come down with the ball.
Well, first of all, he had to do a 360 spin around and then try to get a ball that was behind him. He just made a tremendous effort to try to catch that ball.
Back down to the field, and Phil Lazo.
Quick update on Tyree Foreman from the Sherwood sideline. Just a calf cramp. Little salve on there does the trick every time. Also, Gaithersburg moving into the red zone. Sherwood likes to blitz a lot once the opposition team gets in the red zone. Let's see what happens. George, Ed?
All right, thank you, Phil. 2nd down and 10. Hawkins, Lestrange with the lone setback. And Hawkins with pressure and can't get away.
Good call, Phil.
And Michael Gelati,
and also
who blitzed and came up with the sack.
And Damian Powell doing a good job with contain, allowing Gelati to come in with a direct hit. We wind it down to 11 minutes. Another huge loss for Gaithersburg at a critical point.
Gelati with a fine play.
I don't know how many tackles he's had solo tonight, but it's a bunch.
3rd down and 17 after the 7-yard loss. Make it 18. Here's Hawkins, rolling right, looking downfield, and a good catch.
If his feet are in bounds, this is incredible. Clinton Ingram.
It's not good enough for a 1st down, but a fine effort by their wide receiver.
Off the hands of the defender into the receiver's hands.
Boy, and there were 3 defenders down there who were surrounding Ingram.
Watch this. Good pressure by Damian Powell. Forces Hawkins to put the ball up right through the hands of George Marshall and into the hands of Clinton Ingram. And this is absolutely 4-down territory for Gaithersburg with 10:30 and being down 13-0. Critical thing, George, they need that 6 yards before they need the touchdown.
4th and 6, Hawkins looking at the out route and had a man, and he couldn't hold on to the football.
And he'd have been 2 yards short anyhow. That's one of the things that at any level ball, I can't understand why the receiver never goes far enough to get the 1st down. I guess the philosophy is that if we can get him within 2 yards, then he can beat the back. And I believe that you got to throw that ball at least the distance that you need, the 6 yards instead of 4. And they turn it over, and Sherwood will hold. And at the 24-yard line, they'll take over with 10:30 remaining.
We see many pro wide receivers, though, not get to the marker. So sometimes you're not even thinking as you're going on your route. Here's Maldonado bouncing off a couple of tackles. He finally wrestled down and won't gain much on that one.
Richard Pelez came up on the corner, but he was forced out with a good defensive charge on that right side, again by Carter.
Sherwood continues to control the football on the ground.
And they also continue to lead on the stats, while we did have Gaithersburg closing in the third quarter. 11 first downs to 8. They've closed the yardage, rushing up to only 17 difference. Total yards still remains 70. They've closed that down from about 100 at the end of the half. Gaithersburg picked up time on possession, but they're not putting any points on the board. It's either fumbles or penalties or drop balls, and they moved it great from the 20 to the 20, but they haven't been inside Sherwood 20 all night.
2nd and 10. Salento fakes, rolls, fakes the pass, picks up.
We may see a flag.
Salento carries it close to the first down marker and visits with his coach before coming back to the huddle.
It's a smart play. You get a timeout without having to take one. He's forced out of bounds. I thought they might throw a flag, especially with the quarterback running. The momentum, I guess, appeared to take both the defender and the quarterback out of bounds. But as long as you're on your sideline with your head coach, never hurts. Have a little talk. They've been talking to each other for 4 years.
Back down to the field, Phil Lazo. Phil.
John Bright, defensive end for the Trojans, done for the night. That ACL that was injured coming in, it's too bad to play now. George?
But here we see, fortunately for the Warriors, Tyree Foreman, after that calf cramp, back in the game, carrying the ball off the right side.
And he takes it up to the 32-yard line, a gain of 3, so that'll make it now 4th down and 2. And the punting unit will come onto the field for Sherwood. Back deep to receive the punt will be Lestrange.
And Emerson. And this is one of the few times Sherwood's had 3 downs and out.
They're coming for the block. This one.
Huge hit by Damian. Huge hit by Damian Powell.
By John Cups. We go to commercial break. We'll be back at Bird right after this.
Because your business can send you practically anywhere at a moment's notice, we offer nearly 5,000 flights a day.
The last thing this planet needs is another goofy gadget taking up valuable space. Yeah. Must be why Proform invented the Space Saver crosswalk. They don't call it Space Saver for nothing. Get it? Then get it.
Soon, you'll both be taking up less space. Space Saver by Proform.
Up here, there are no ground rules. So go ahead. Think. Build. Create. Do something amazing. You're going places. And that's why we're here.
The last thing this planet needs is another goofy gadget taking up valuable space. Yeah. Must be why Proform invented the Space Saver crosswalk. They don't call it Space Saver for nothing. Get it?
Proform.
Back here at Byrd Stadium. 8:45 left here in our ball game. Clock is rolling. Sherwood leads 13-0, but Gaithersburg has the football. And the inside handoff goes to Mike Kao. And Kao picks up a couple of yards. It's going to be second down now and make it 6.
That's just a little slant off the left side. Here we have the Gaithersburg band trying to cheer on their football team. The clock is moving down on their season and this championship. Coming into 8 minutes.
Second down and 6. Ball's at midfield. And the inside handoff. And it looks like Lancaster has come back into the ball game. Number 4.
And Manley's still there to make the stop along with Damian Powell. That's a tandem that's pretty formidable, George.
Make no mistake about it. Lancaster takes it to the 47-yard line. Pickup of 3. Which will make it third down and 3. 2 receivers coming out, split to the right as you take a look at the replay. Manley, getting Manley. Here's Hawkins on third down, swing pass. And his receiver, Lancaster, couldn't hold on to the football.
And he just took another shot on that left arm. I'm going to be surprised to see him stay in this game.
That'll make it fourth down now and 3. But give Lancaster credit. He is out there and laying it all on the line for his club.
Now here's one where you earn your money as a coach. 4th and 3, 7:20. You're down 13-0. You're inside your opponent's 50-yard line, but not by much. They've got to go for it, George.
7:20 left here in our football game. Gaithersburg trailing 13-0. They give it to Lancaster. Look at the hole. Cuts back inside. Finally dragged down by Norton, but not until he gets down to the 32-yard line. Good for first down.
Sherwood defense was just caught totally off guard. Matter of fact, when they lined up, if they had seen, if Cornell Hawkins had looked out to his right side, Jonathan Cups came up to the line of scrimmage, waving both arms frantically over his head. There was no defender over Cups within 15 yards.
And that's how many yards Lancaster got on the carry, 15.
Of course, Cups, after not getting the ball, did go downfield to block on the play for Lancaster.
And how about these two guys, these two running backs for these clubs, both going down and
getting back up
and coming back out on the field?
Yeah, that's what it's all about in high school football. They're not out there for the big bucks.
Now, you know you only have one football game left. This is it.
And you work all year, George, and for a lot of these kids, you know, they've worked 2 and 3 years. But here's just a huge, great block by Scott Lestrange. And you can see that Norton was trying to get over on the tackle. Eventually he did, but he had to chase it a long way.
Yeah.
With help by O'Neill. And again, I believe it's Manley, as well as number 33 for the Warriors. I don't have a number for.
Oh, they bring these young men up from JV sometimes.
Well, we thought we had them all.
And sneak them past us. Sherwood in the lead, 13-0 with 7:12 left in our ball game. And as you take a look at the list of state champion winners, you don't see Sherwood's name anywhere.
No, they
for their first state championship in school history.
Right, and this is only the 5th time in the history of the school that, and the history of the playoffs, that they've been here at Byrd Stadium. Well, first time they've been here to Byrd, it's 5th appearance. And of course, 2 of those appearances this year and last year were under the Bob Malloy era.
In the playoffs, their appearances. Right. But in the finals, they've only been here once. And that was back in 1979 as the big guy, Kevin Jackson.
That's going to hurt.
Jackson, one of those defensive tackles on that 52 defense.
And offensive guard, that'll hurt even more. But he's only a junior. Again, this team is just loaded with juniors.
5'10", 240 pounds, and been a solid solid member of this offensive line and defensive front. First and 10. Ball's at the 32-yard line. Gaithersburg sorely needs a score, needs one quickly. And a nice catch made by Mr. Cups.
Hey, George, too bad we don't get to pick players of the games. We'd have a hard time.
Yes, we would. There have been a lot of players out here giving it their all.
Again, Hawkins on about a 5-step drop and a fingertip straight layout catch. Just a super catch by John Cups.
That one good for 3 yards. Clock still rolling as we approach the 6.5-minute mark here of our fourth quarter. Sherwood showing blitz, and the flag comes out, and I think the defensive linebacker got caught in the neutral zone.
He was trying to anticipate the snap, and I think he was about a half a step too quick. Probably be encroachment, offside defense.
And that's that linebacker, Gelati again, number 28.
Oh, he's just anxious to go up and hit somebody.
But he's anxious even during practice. We got a chance to see him in practice a couple of days ago. They were indoors in the basketball court.
Oh, that's the day it snowed.
And he was out there. They were running through the offense of Gaithersburg. And Gelati's out there making hits as if this is game time. Well, and screaming at the scout team, run something better than that, please. He's a true linebacker. When you think about linebackers and some of the wild guys like Lambert and Dick Buckus, and he just falls right down that line. He just wants to play linebacker, wants to play
He doesn't have his size, but he's got his heart.
Yes, he does. Second down and short. Lancaster with the carry, trying to bounce to the outside. And there's a good defensive play by Damian Powell. Looks like Lancaster.
Looks like he's going to be about a yard short. It's hard to tell. Chains are on the far side of the field.
Takes it down just inside the 23-yard line. You're right, he's going to still need a yard for the first down. Gaithersburg.
Well, they got 2 plays to get it, and I'll guarantee you they'll go for it. Don't be surprised to see Hawkins on the keeper. Nice hole up there on that 5 defense right now.
High formation. Lancaster's the deep back. They give it to him. He squirts up to the 20-yard line. That'll be good for a first down. So Lancaster gives his club a first down, approaching the halfway point of our fourth quarter.
George, I want to take some time to recognize a lot of these kids. College prospects, kids with good SATs, 4.0, mind and motion athletes, and we'll pick them up next couple plays here. Both teams.
First and 10 at the 20. Hawkins over the middle. Intercepted by Sherwood.
Manley, I believe.
The big man, Manley, makes the play. Boy, you were talking about players of the game. I'll tell you what, he may have cemented his spot with that play right there. And look at the crowd here at Berg.
Well, one of the things is when you play, every game, you get used to making big plays. And Graham Manley certainly has fit that mold. Hawkins looked a little hesitant. He was telegraphing. Manley drifted over, and he's a tight end. He's made several receptions tonight, made key receptions in the semifinal game to get here during the season. He's just played an outstanding ball game. Came off to the interception.
Clock rolling now as they give it to Foreman on the first and 10 from the 14, trying to get to the outside.
That was great pursuit defense on that play.
Cups
again
there to make the stop, getting some help
with Rashad Jenkins, number 3.
But what's important in that situation is they were able to knock him out of bounds and stop the clock.
From their point and stop the clock. And see, that play was well over about 25 yards. Football field's 54.5 yards wide and 100 yards long. You run over half the field and get maybe 2.
Second and 9. Manley in motion. Inside handoff to Foreman. Big play inside by the big guy, Mike Carter.
That's a good defensive play, but unfortunately the clock's still running. They're going to have to try the old strip the ball technique and try and get that ball back. Here we have Salento just on the straight drop back, hands off, and a super defensive play by Carter and help with Brzezinski and Bograd. But again, Tyree Foreman, 13 rushes, 170 yards, 8.2 average.
Came in with over 1,500 yards on the season. Salento gonna pass, eludes. No, he does not get by Mr. Cups. And both tight ends for this football team, tight ends slash linebackers, Cups and Manley have come up large all night long.
Yeah, and Gaithersburg now takes a timeout with 4:21. And as they do, let me mention that these mind and motion athletes from Gaithersburg, Matt Lowe, Kelly Emerson, Rich Pelez, Scott Taylor, Kenny Simonson, Rashad Jenkins, Mike Kao, Joe Rajewski, Derek Lancaster, Jimmy Wingo, John Cups, Ben Bograd, and Bograd with a 4.0 and Cups with 1250 SATs. And for Sherwood, they're no slouches academically. We've got Alexis Martineau, 3.9 GPA, 1450 on his SATs. Minds in motion, Tyree Foreman, Pat Salento, Graham Manley, Damian Miggins, Ivan Maldonado.
Looks like the high standards to get into college has trickled its way down to the high school level, and these young men are taking school as serious as they do sports.
I think the other thing that benefit, and it just shows graphically, it's also the sign of a good program and coaches that demand excellence not only on the field but in the classroom.
So, on a 4th down and long,
we may see a safety.
Punt the football, and it was almost blocked.
Oh, and we got a penalty.
And it gets away from Emerson, and Sherwood recovers the football. A big turnover for Gaithersburg, but like you said, let's wait and see what the flag was about. But they were coming, and that might be roughing
There's
anyway.
no question. They had to. They had no choice.
Tremendous play by Sherwood to get down defensively as Robbie Cunningham got down to help force the fumble and the recovery.
And there we have the hit after the kick without touching the ball. That's a roughing penalty.
Damian Powell had a chance to jump on top of it. And eventually sneaking in there, as we said, Robbie Cunningham. Boy,
that's a huge turnover for Sherwood.
Tough break for Gaithersburg. So the clock will start to roll as there are now 4 minutes left here in this ball game, and Sherwood leads 13-0. Inside handoff again to their bread and butter, Tyree Foreman.
And a penalty flag down on the play. Now I want to find that offensive line for Sherwood. Martineau, Jackson, Caffey, Dingle, Harrington. They're waving off the flag. There's just been absolutely great blocking up front on Sherwood all night. They've been able to really get that point of attack working, George, by coming in low and cutting off that defense. So watch their low angle of attack and the pursuit. There you can see it's a double team in on Wingo. But they've been doing that all night. They'll post and gate him.
You better double team that big guy. He's already thrown a pass for a 1st down in this one. He does it all. 2nd down and 5. Mix up in the backfield.
I've got to tell you, that was just a super charge by Dave Garnett. And coming across to help out also was number 88, John Cups. And that's, I believe, the first time Pat Salento's been put down all night in this game. It's just a super charge. No sooner does he turn around than Garnett is there. Maldonado may have run the wrong pattern. And Cups trying to steal the ball, and Bograd coming in.
Heads up play. 3rd down and 10. Under 3 minutes left here. In the battle for the 4A championship in the state of Maryland. Sherwood with the football and a 13-0 lead. and they give it to their fullback, Tyrone Foreman.
Tyrone Foreman.
Who already has 100 yards.
Gaithersburg timeout.
And after the short carry, Gaithersburg will stop the clock in anticipation of getting it back.
Well, there should be another punt. About a 4th and 7.
Now back deep to receive the punt would be Scott Lestrange. Emerson also going back there.
Oh.
So Gaithersburg,
Coach Bob Malloy, in quest of his 7th state championship title. If he does, he'll tie one of his former colleagues from Montgomery County, Al Thomas, who won 7 while at Seneca Valley and Damascus.
So many great moments here when it comes to Maryland State football here on HTS, and here's another one for you. We'll go to that in a second. First, we'll wait the punt by Sherwood. And Emerson calls for the fair catch, and this time he holds on. Now let's go to that flashback.
Back in 1992, Gaithersburg High was again in the championship game at Byrd Stadium when Andre Parker scored from 17 yards out to secure a 39-21 victory over Crossland High, and for the Trojans head coach John Harville, a 2nd state championship.
Well, if Coach Harville wants a 3rd, his club is going to have to do something and do it quickly. 2:35 left. There's Bob Malloy looking for his 7th state championship as a head coach here.
And his first at Sherwood.
In Montgomery County. Hawkins on 1st and 10. Can't elude the rusher and is brought down by Damian Powell.
Damian's just had a super year. I look for him to have a super year on the mat. He was a 152-pounder last year, probably moving up to 167, 189.
And he'll be back again next year.
He's only a junior.
A loss of 3 yards, 2nd and 13, clock still rolling. 2 minutes left. And Gaithersburg looking for something deep. Going to Ingram. Norton almost makes the interception.
Good coverage by Norton and Miggins. Again intended for Clinton Ingram, senior wide receiver. And here's the replay. Again, Hawkins steps up and throws down the right sideline. Actually has overthrown Ingram.
Ingram almost had to play defensive back.
That's right,
at that point.
Morton just mishandled, but had he caught the ball, I don't believe it had 2 feet inbounds anyhow.
3rd down. And you almost might say that this is the last gasp effort for Gaithersburg. Over the middle pass. Good defense.
Great defensive play
by Salento.
So the quarterback helps out his own cause. It's kind of like a pitcher hitting a home run. Well, maybe a single. It'd been a home run had he intercepted it.
And I wonder how many times during the regular season Pat Salento played defensive back. But when you're in a state final,
yeah, he didn't play too many times. Because if he's my quarterback, he's not going to play it too many times. Just a great play.
And when you talk about Pat Salento, he could have had a lot better numbers offensively, but his club had big leads in the first half. He never played the second half, at least the first 5-6 games. Or he could have had unbelievable numbers offensively. Here's the delay handoff to Lestrange, trying to get to the outside, beat O'Neal, and does. And a good job.
I think he's out short of a first down, probably by a yard or two. Was deceiving George when the chain crew threw the marker down. They threw it down in the opposite direction. And it almost looked as though he got the first down. And Sherwood's going to take over the ball with 1:37 remaining at the Trojan 37-36 yard line. And it looks like it's in the bag for the Warriors.
And it looks as there's Cornell Hawkins, just a sophomore. He's going to have plenty more football games ahead of him.
There's no question about that.
Here's a guy that wasn't even supposed to start for the varsity. He was scheduled to start JV this year. And found himself thrusted in the position and did a great job to get his club here to the state final game. And Salento now will just kneel down with 1:35 left.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think there are no timeouts left for Gaithersburg. I think they've used them all.
The clock will continue to roll.
You know, one of the things that's just great as we look at the crowd, as Ned Sparks said, the gate course was not official, but over 8,000 here tonight for this championship game. Of course, in Bird Stadium, it seats about 40,000. Doesn't look like anybody's here, but it's just a tribute to the 4A, and I'm especially pleased and proud that the teams are from Montgomery County, where I work, and have been there for a number of years. And we've had our 8-3 match for the state 4A title. This will be our 14th title in 21 years.
Sherwood takes the delay call to wind the clock down. They'll kneel it and let it roll again.
There's a Sherwood crowd.
Sherwood, as we were telling you, were in command of most teams throughout the season, opening up the year with a 44-14 win over Paint Branch, and from there on, they would score at least 35 points or 34 points in their next 5 ball games. 34-0 win over Whitman, a 35-7 win over Wooten, a 35-0 win over Magruder, 42-0 over Blair, 35-14 over Quince Orchard, 35-0 over Springbrook. This is the kind of club that put great numbers on the board
all year long.
Time they got out on the football field.
And the other thing is that they weren't bad defensively, because even though your offense puts them up, somebody has to help you do that. And when they went in to meet Patterson from Baltimore City, I believe Patterson had a 20-some game winning streak.
22-game regular season winning streak.
And it was 35-12 final score. I believe it was something like 28-0 at the half. And again, that was another game, even a playoff that Salento didn't even get to play the 4th quarter.
So after going 9-1 in the regular season, Sherwood then played Patterson, as Ed just mentioned, who had won a 4th straight Baltimore City championship. And knocked them off 35-12, and then it was Seneca Valley last week in a big ball game. They won that one 21-14, and Seneca Valley had come off 3 straight victories in the 3A division for state championships.
However, I think Seneca, as well as they played this year, they were playing in mirrors. They were, you know, there's mystique when you win all the time. That even if you don't have the great personnel that you had in past years, because it's that winning team, teams have they want to automatically have an edge. And Seneca ended up the season losing 3 of their last 4. And a lot of people
knocked them off and broke their 26-game winning streak.
That's correct. But turnabout's fair play, because when Gaithersburg had their winning streak, it was broken several years ago by Seneca Valley. And here we again see an intentional delay to run the clock down.
And there's Bob Malloy. And boy, he's
happy.
So proud of this club.
He's happy. Tom Kroll, his son Brendan, that's got to be a great feeling. And then the other side, John Harville, Fran Perry, Fred Joyce, Craig Kephart.
And old Bob Malloy, who took some time off after he left Springbrook and came up in the booth one day with us and did a state championship game with us.
He loved it. He loved it.
And yeah, I told him he's like old Parcells, though. He couldn't stay up in the booth too long. Had to get back down on the field. And 4 years later, look at him.
Yeah, and
he's the head coach of another state championship team.
And there goes the ice bucket. I'm sure he doesn't care. And he ties with Al Thomas, who's now assistant coach at Cambridge South Dorchester, who play here tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Saturday against Southern Garrett of Garrett County in the 1A title. But this has just been, the game is certainly not what a lot of people thought it was going to be. It was not the offense of Sherwood against the defense of Gaithersburg. It was the defense of Sherwood against the offense of Gaithersburg.
Sherwood got on the board early in this football game, took an early 13-0 lead, and was able to hold on for their state championship, their first state championship in school history. 13-0 win over Gaithersburg.
Two legends there, George, with Bob and John congratulating each other. They both wanted to win so bad. There can only be one winner.
You talk to Bob Malloy, and he has such respect for John Harville. Said when he first got into coaching, it was John Harville's offense that he would study and look at this.
He would chop those films apart, and everything that Gaithersburg did to make them successful, Malloy said that's what we've got to do. He's been doing it for so long that we've just got to copy it.
Let's go on down to the field where Phil Lazo is standing by with the victorious head coach.
Down here on the field with the victorious coach Bob Malloy of Sherwood. This is your 7th state championship. First was Sherwood. How does this compare with the ones you won there? They've never won a state title here.
I mean, I don't want to compare one thing. I would like to say that, you know, that was a great football team. We beat all the adversity they had, and to still play us hard like that, I take my hat off to them. They're a classy outfit, and I think, you know, there's been too much made about my this and my that. Those guys right there won that state championship. All I did was smart enough not to screw it up, and they deserve all the credit. And I take my hat off to Coach Harville and his team. They were terrific.
He owes you 3 dinners now. Is that right? Was there you?
No, I owe him one now.
Oh, that's right. You owe him one now.
I'm giving it to him.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right, Phil. So Bob Malloy and his Sherwood club are now the state champions at the 4A level here in Maryland. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up from Berg Stadium.
Change. It's coming faster. In this century, it took years for all the world's knowledge to double. In the 21st century, it'll take days. Only those with high-tech skills will excel.
Tower, Spear 1-1, holding short of 1-6. Roger, Spear 1 here, clear, taxi,
1-6. I'm getting those skills now in the Air Force. It's given me powerful tools, education, training, and experience to shape my future. With Air Force skills, I can keep up with tomorrow's changes, and so can you.
Wednesday night, the Bullets go against the Hawks on HTS. Chris Webber, Jawan Howard, Rashid, yes indeed, Wallace. Atlanta, good solid club with guys who know how to win. We shoot down the hall. We know we're on our way up. This is our house, our fans, your team. The Bullets, the Hawks, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS. Ready to play.
HTS, this is ACC country. Football power, tops and hoops, masters of sports. HTS is the ACC. No one's got more ACC sports. No one delivers more ACC championships than HTS. No one, period. This is ACC country. This is HTS.
HTS has got it all. More sports. HTS. Capitals. Bullets. X&O. Your sports. HTS. Take it right. HTS does it right. More sports. Your sports. More sports. Your sports. HTS.
Back here at Bird Stadium on the campus of the University of Maryland, where Sherwood just knocked off Gaithersburg to be crowned the Maryland 4A champions. George Johnson, along with Phil Lazo and Ed Massoud, my broadcast partner, up here in the booth. And looking at this Sherwood club, well, they really did a great job today, especially in the trenches, offensive line, defensive front.
Yeah, that's where the game was won for Sherwood. The offensive line just came across, took out the feet of the defense, that touted defense of Gaithersburg, opened up some pretty good holes for Tyree Foreman. But Pat Salento, as quarterback, really, he was heralded tonight. This is how he has been playing all year long. He was the unknown that really came up.
Another guy that you can't close the broadcast without mentioning, and there's Salento right there. But one guy you just cannot move on without mentioning, and that's Graham Manley.
Number 89,
great
a
game.
junior tight end, middle linebacker who also came up and played off defensive end. He had an interception. He had 7 or 8 catches. Touchdown opening catch, 11 yards from Salento right in the first quarter, and Manley just played the game of his life as far as he's concerned. Now he's got another year to come back.
There are a couple of guys coming back. We take a look at the final stats, and of course with Tyree Foreman doing a lot of the work on the ground, and he also had a tremendous game for Sherwood.
And I think, did he break 100 yards, George? He should have been pretty close.
Yes, he did.
But here, the first downs are not that far apart, 13-9. Rushing yards, a 50-yard advantage for Sherwood, and 30-yard advantage for Salento passing. Time of possession almost dead even, but 13-0 on the scoreboard certainly avenges the 9-6 loss earlier in the season.
So Sherwood are the champions, the 4A level here in the state of Maryland, after knocking off Gaithersburg by the score of 13-0. For Ed Massoud, Phil Lazo, I'm George Johnson. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.